Alright, so a little bit of update on my car. I went to change my oil the other day, and you know that milky, awesome disgustingness that comes out when you have coolant mixed in your oil? Yeah, so I found out, I think I've ran the car twice, maybe, so not a big deal, but still needs to be fixed. I found that last time I took the supercharger off, there's a pulley, or not a pulley, but a bracket that holds the water pump on as well, and when I took that off, the gasket that was on there probably didn't seal right. So this is a great example of why not to use the paper gaskets when you're putting your timing chain cover back together or any sort of water passages. That's what was on there when the engine got built. I wasn't excited about it then, and this is a great example of why. So I'm going to pull this apart, I'm going to take the paper gaskets off, I'm going to replace it with silicone, and I'm going to do a time lapse for you guys so you can follow along. I'll probably shoot some video when I get everything apart, but it's kind of a pain. I've got to take off all of this stuff, so all the supercharger I've got to take off, all of the intercooler piping, and everything in front's got to come off so I can get to the timing chain cover. Then I got to put the gasket on, and I got to let it dry before I fill it all back up, but fun stuff. Let the time lapse begin. Another real quick thing before I get started on the time lapse. I bought a really neat tool I'm going to use today. Try it out. So this is an adjustable wrench on both sides. Oh, sorry, can't see that. So you got that side for smaller sizes, this side for bigger sizes. It works for metric or standard. Replaces a lot of wrenches in your toolbox. I'm going to use this rather than break out 5 or 6 different wrenches. I'm going to see how it works. Should get into some of the tight spaces. It's not that thick, but let's see how this guy works. I'm kind of excited. This is only like 15 bucks at the local hardware store. Alright, so here's what we got. Paper gasket I was telling you about. See that? When you take it off, there are spots that just weren't sealed. Like that right there. That's what I was leaking across. So I was leaking from my coolant passage right inside my timing chain cover into my crankcase. So these are a giant pain to clean up. If you just use silicone, it's a heck of a lot easier if you ever have to take these apart to clean up, and you don't end up having to scrape this plastic stuff for hours, or this paper stuff for hours. So I'm going to get a wire wheel and try to speed this up a little bit. My apologies, I had the camera off, trying to get this done in a hurry, but I got the timing chain cover back on, put some silicone all the way around it. You have to be very careful, especially on your oil pan seal. Mine's a one-piece seal, but if you rip it or tear it when you're taking the old timing chain cover off, it can cause big problems. Whoa! Alright, so I put the silicone on there, I let it tack up for probably 5 minutes, and then I put the cover on. And now I'm going to loosely put the bolts in, and I'm going to let it set up for a few minutes before I tighten it down a little bit more. process is done. You can see I got it all back together. No small feat. A few hours, I think it was probably 6 hours of the total work. A couple things I have left to do: connect my upper radiator hose and my lower radiator hose. I've got it hanging right there. I'm gonna wait 24 hours to let the silicone fully cure, so tomorrow I will connect everything back up. And then I will fill it with coolant, make sure I'm not leaking any in the oil pan, and finally call the project done. So I'm not trying to do a tool review, but I want to show you guys a couple things that I've been using more recently now that has kind of replaced a lot of stuff in my toolbox. This is an awesome set. So Crescent makes this. Adjustable wrench. The cool thing about this is that the gears open really, really wide. You can actually open it all the way to where this falls out the end. But you can get all the way up to, what does it go up to? 1 inch on there, which is awesome. You got these spline sockets, and it's got a ratchet on the end, reversible, and it's the pass-through style. Really awesome set. And this one is standard, but you can get metric as well. I love this thing. This is one of the better investments that I made in tools. The other cool thing, I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, is this adjustable, basically box end wrench, but it's got small sizes, all big sizes. This is really handy if you don't want to carry a lot of wrenches with you. And one of my favorites, man, this thing. So I use this to get back in here for some of the tight stuff, like when I've got to put these nuts on. This guy right here, the handy clamp. Awesome tool. Thanks for watching, guys.